But what about Hunter Biden getting $500,000 per painting, and he never painted before? Could you imagine if my kids did that? Could you imagine?
Hunter Biden, you confirmed yesterday that he will be meeting with prospective buyers, but you also said that he's not going to have any conversation.
Not that he's meeting with prospective buyers, that he is attending gallery events that had been prior planned and announced.
There could be prospective buyers there.
He's not, those discussions will be happening with the gallerists, but that is different than meeting with prospective buyers.
If there are prospective buyers there, you said yesterday that he is not going to have any conversations related to the selling of art. How can the administration guarantee that?
The selling of his art will all happen through the gallerists, and the names and individuals will be kept confidential. We will not be aware, neither will he be aware.
Is there anything stopping anyone from directly telling, though, Hunter Biden that they're going to purchase his art, and if they do, the American people won't know who they are?
He will not know, we will not know who purchases his art.
Like, this is a huge optics problem and ethics problem, and making it more challenging is that it is art and the value is assigned. I mean, that's why you have critics saying different things. And so obviously the White House is trying to get some sort of wrap around this. They try to come up with an arrangement that could make it look a little bit better, but they're worried about it.
Are there any specific procedures you can tell us that are being put in place to ensure that these conversations remain, as you say, not about the sales? Will he get ethics training? Will he have to report afterwards about the conversations? Anything specific you can tell us about how you are monitoring this?
Well, again, I think it is certainly a commitment that has been made by all parties involved. He is not involved in the sale or discussions about the sale of his art, and he will not be informed of the sale of his art and who is purchasing that art. That is a commitment that's been made, and we expect that all parties would abide by it.
A Pulitzer Prize-winning art critic says that he thinks that Hunter Biden's art is kind of like a cafe painter. He says you wouldn't, unless you were related to the artist, spent more than $1,000 on it. But then another art critic who actually likes Hunter Biden's work also says this: anybody who buys it would be guaranteed instant profit. He's the president's son. So obviously, this is a problem, an ethical problem, one of optics, but also just from a practical perspective.
I know that Hunter Biden is going to be able to meet with prospective buyers at 2 art shows where his paintings are going to be on display later this year. How does this square with the goal of keeping him in the dark about the buyers of his art as a means to prevent even the appearance of undue influence?
Well, this showing that you're referencing was previously public. He's not going to have any conversations related to the selling of art. That will be left to the gallerist, as was outlined in the agreement that we announced just a few weeks ago. We believe this is a reasonable system that has been established that allows for Hunter Biden to work in his profession.
And now they're justifying it. Well, we want to make it non-transparent. No, actually, you should make it transparent, I guess. But actually, you shouldn't make it at all because it's a bribe.
Would it be more transparent to just release the names of the buyers so that everyone would know who purchased this art and how much they paid?
Well, we won't know who the buyers are. Hunter Biden won't know who the buyers are. So I think the origin, of this line of questioning, which is understandable, is about whether this would provide a situation for undue influence. But we won't know who they are. So there's no scenario where they could provide influence.
Didn't they just announce on social media that they bought a painting?
Again, I think we have set up a system which we feel is appropriate, has appropriate safeguards. We believe that Hunter Biden, just like any child of a president, should be able to pursue their professions.
You have good painters for $250. You can. Incredible. They're geniuses. They're just geniuses. You go to Central Park and they have all these artists lined up. You negotiate a deal. They'll do it for $250. They're unbelievably talented. Some of them are beyond belief what they can do in a short period of time. Hunter Biden's getting $500,000.
You said that Hunter Biden is not going to discuss anything related to the sale of his art. Is that a promise that has been made in writing? And if so, is that an agreement that can be made available to the public?
I'm making that clear to all of you now, that is an agreement that has been made as a part of this, as a part of these events.
Is it in writing?
I can check and see if there's more detail.
Thanks.
But I think it's pretty clear what the agreement is, so I'm not sure it's more complicated than that.
They've put an art dealer in charge of keeping a secret. And really what he's doing is keeping a secret from the public, because eventually the Hunter Biden or people in the White House will learn who it's going to be. In fact, Hunter Biden, we now know, is going to be at 2 art showings where he will meet the universe of bidders on his art. So they left that detail out when they told us he had no way of knowing who was buying his art.
Did the White House play any role in crafting the sales agreement with the New York Gallery to protect the purchasers or the ultimate purchaser's identity?
Well, I can tell you that after careful consideration, a system has been established that allows for Hunter Biden to work in his profession within reasonable safeguards. Their identities with Hunter Biden or the administration, which provides quite a level of protection and transparency.
The gallery owner is a private citizen who might not be privy to who might have some interests in purchasing this artwork. Is the White House doing anything to work with the owner to make sure there's not impropriety there when it is ultimately sold?
Well, I think it would be challenging for an anonymous person who we don't know and Hunter Biden doesn't know to have influence. So that's a
There's a local artist collective in Alexandria, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C., where if you go, really well-established artists who've been doing this for years and have quite a following are selling for $2,000 to $5,000. And he's not even at that level because this is his first sale, who showed up on the scene and started selling for the cost of a house and a half, because $295,000 was the price of the average home sale last year, and he's selling for up to $500,000.
Or I guess Hunter Biden could do this under a pen name, and his real value to be established by the market, not his name.
I have a feeling if he did it under a pen name, he wouldn't get much for it.
President Biden said, and I'm quoting, quote, I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings, but recently photographs and documents have called that into question. In 2015, President Biden, as vice president, met at Cafe Milano with his son's Ukrainian, Russian, and Kazakhstani business associates one day before a Burisma executive thanked the first son for the opportunity to meet his father. And also in 2015, as vice president, the president hosted at the Naval Observatory Mexican business associates of Hunter Biden before Hunter Biden emailed these associates from Air Force 2 the next year going to Mexico. So I have kind of a two-part question. Was President Biden indeed unaware that his son was pursuing business opportunities for these people he met? And also, according to recent reporting, the first son still has a stake in a Chinese investment company. When is he going to unload that?
On the last part, he's working to unload that. I'd point you to his representatives. The president does not discuss business dealings with family members, and otherwise I'm not going to respond to Rudy Giuliani's lawyer. Go ahead in the back.